curiosity, what is the Lace Up Tour?
Well, the Lace Up Tour is really my excuse to travel around the USA hosting events in we have 25 stops and we're hosting 16 events.
So, what's the main purpose of the tour?
In all honesty, when I first was thinking about going on tour, I thought about Off the Edge. We did a European tour, we did the US tour, and it was such a crazy experience getting all these groups of local freerunners together and having these discussions. And I think in the beginning, when we did Off the Edge, the idea was just to promote this film. And the more events we went to, the more I realized it was an incredible way to not only connect with the community for myself, but to carry a conversation to each stop. And we did that for a year. And when we were gonna drop the Flair Pro Model Tempest shoe, I was trying to come up with a way to help talk about that and market it, and not just sell shoes, but also talk about the value of having a shoe in our sport, a signature shoe, and what that can do for the future of athletes that are dedicating their lives to this movement. And instead of just selling shoes, I realized I can use this as an excuse to host more events and travel and connect with the community, and that's what we're doing with the Lace Up Tour. I think that's a really important question to talk about. In every other action sport, there are devices. There are wheels, bearings, tires, boards, trucks. Everyone else has these things that bring them around and that sponsors can get behind and their sport can create. Right now we have clothing and we have shoes. And shoes is not an easy thing to make. It takes a lot of work. And the value of having the shoe industry within our sport grow is equal to the success of the future of our sport, in my opinion. If you think about the young kid coming up and imagine that each one of the big teams, including Tempest, Freerunning, Storer, Gup, all these brands having their own shoes and bringing in athletes and giving them a pro model shoe in the future and a deal that allows them to live off of what they love, that's amazing. That would be an incredible future for our sport. But in order for us to get there, we need to take those steps. And I'm really excited that Tempest is honoring me with the Flair Pro Model shoe, because it's not just something that I'm gonna be oh cool, I got my name on a shoe. It's something that I created a 25 stop tour around because I see the value in this piece of merchandise. This piece of merchandise that is not only something to make money off of, it's actually something to grow our entire sport through. So that's why we spent a year and a half making this shoe. It's actually been 2 years, and I've been wear testing for about 6 months now. And we wanted to create something that was specific to our movement, that had things like the extended precision zone that makes you a better free runner by giving you a device, something that you can use that is made for you and your movement. And that's what we did, and we tried to build in as much pieces of technology that were specific to the way we move and the way we land and the tricks we do. And not only that, but thinking about future tricks and trying to be creative with how we're designing the shoe in a way to make and hold the future movement of our sport too. So I was really excited to try to push the boundaries of what a shoe in our sport could be, and I'm really happy with the way it came out.
Is there a spot that you look forward to the most?
Yeah, one of my favorite things we did with this tour is, because I made it so long, we're gonna be on the road for 63 days, but what that allowed me to do is not just focus on the big gyms. My goal with this tour was to connect with even the smaller communities around the USA that usually don't get the love because they're in places like Idaho. And that's actually one of my spots I'm looking forward to the most, because I haven't seen a lot of the pros or the more popular athletes go train at this gym, and I think it's going to be really cool to stop in there and connect with a community that hasn't really seen and experienced that side of the sport. So I think, yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to the smaller stops, maybe even more than, you know, some of the bigger stops.
How is this tour gonna, like, how do we travel?
So coming off the Edge tour, we drove around in like a kind of a small RV that we had wrapped, and we tried to make the whole thing look super professional. And part of my goal with this tour is really using this opportunity to show the outside world that we are legit. Like, this sport is 100% growing, and my efforts to do that is to go bigger, to really go and make it look polished and professional. So this tour, we're driving around in a 35-foot tour bus that is going to be completely wrapped, branded. We got sponsors logos on there, and so we'll be traveling around in a 35-foot tour bus that has bunk beds and everything. It's crazy.
It's like a childhood dream.
Seriously, like, this moment in my life is a childhood dream. Like, all I ever wanted was to go pro, and like, if you look back on my history of like rollerblading and BMX and like, you know, like every skate I had that had like an athlete's name on it and was their pro model, like, that was the dream. So like, to take something that I just fell in love with, this movement and parkour, and to work so hard that it became this really successful moment in my life where I literally have like a pro model shoe. I'm going to be on the side of a huge tour bus and driving around for 2 months straight, like hosting events and bringing large groups of people together is like, it's like mind-blowing. It literally is mind-blowing. And you know, I think the craziest part about this whole thing is like, I know that I'm not the #1 athlete in the world. You know, I'm not the guy that's gonna go win every competition, but I am the guy that like put a lot of work and dedication into not only the growth of my own personal brand, but the growth of this sport as a whole. And you know, the one thing I'm the most proud of is that I've worked extremely hard to get here, and these moments, you know, are the ones that like I will remember for the rest of my life. These are the things I can look back on and be the most proud of. So this tour is a celebration. It's a celebration of all of this, all the hard work. It's a celebration of our sport growing. It's a celebration of like the future, like meeting all these younger kids that are going to be at these events that want that pro life, that are going to get that pro life because of all the efforts and things that we are putting into this. Like, that's amazing. It's just another great example of like using this platform, and I want you guys to use this platform as well. The tour is not just a tool for me. It's a tool for the community to say, hey, look, this is what we can do. And I'm 100% like interested in helping you guys use it. So at the end of this tour, we can use numbers and talk about viewership, and it's kind of the perfect example for you guys to host your own events in the future and use it as a proof of concept to bring in sponsorships to the next thing that you're doing.
The athletes that will come on tour, name drop a few.
We're bringing so many like ridiculous athletes with us, and like, that's cool for me. For me to have like Nate Weston, Eric Mukamenchen, Sydney Olsen, Big Mish, Corbin Reinhardt, Bart Vanderlinden is coming from Amsterdam to come on tour, Marcus Zirkin, Jeff Garrido. Like, these people recognize the importance of this thing, and they want to support it, and to have them like reach out and want to be a part of this thing has been incredible. And like, I cannot even fathom the madness that we're about to see go down over these next 2 months. All right, guys, so I cannot wait to see you guys on tour. Thank you in advance for all of the support, and this is gonna be sick. America, let's go. Yeah.